What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Straight Betting. Today is Thursday, May 22nd. We got OKC versus the Minnesota Wolves. Game 2 on our hands. I got one official play for today. I got a ton of leans. I have so many props that I like that I'm very close to pulling the trigger on. Gonna, of course, talk about all of those, about to break down the game, probably go over basically every prop and every little angle and stuff like that. But yeah, man. Before we get into it, you guys can skip this if you want. Like I said, there's going to be some time codes down below. As a Wolves fan, man, I haven't felt so, what's the word, man? Helpless in a while. Even against the Mavs I know we're only down 1-0, but even against the Mavs in the playoffs last time, it just feels like everything's stacked against us, man. And I know I'm sounding like a huge victim right now. I know, like, people don't want to hear me complain and stuff. But my gosh, guys, I've been on Twitter probably way too much today, to be honest with you. But what people don't understand is that when Shea is getting these touch fouls, right, it's not about the free throws at all, right? And before I say all this shit, man, Shea is a great player. Shea is an amazing player. He's really, really good. He won the MVP for a reason. He's, top 3 player in the world for sure. You can debate Jokic, Shea, Giannis, whatever. He's an amazing player, man, but the way he gets officiated and the way his team defends is egregious. It's like I said, it's not about the free throws. It's about the little hand checks on the perimeter, right? The little flailing of the neck to get a cheeky foul on Jaden McDaniels over and over again. Not even Jaden McDaniels, literally anyone. When that's established that is illegal to guard Shea like that, you can't press up on him, really. You can't really make him uncomfortable, right? You can't really contest a shot normally. You can't, when you're guarding in isolation, beat him to the spot. You beat him to the spot, he's flailing, he's getting the whistle. That's like the whole point of defense is to beat him to the spot. And like I said, I'm not talking about the free throws. It makes it hard to get a good contest on a shot because you know what's coming. Like I said, you can't pressure him. What would Dort and Caruso be on defense? I mean, they'd still be good. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm not trying to discredit these guys, but don't get me what would Dort and Caruso be on defense if they weren't allowed to pressure people and they got called for every little hand check because what if Ant flailed his neck back and that's just a foul and that's established that you can't guard like that anymore and it just keeps on happening over and over again. OKC wouldn't be that good. They wouldn't be able to force turnovers at the rate they do because they wouldn't be able to apply all that pressure and stuff. It's just so frustrating, man. It completely set the tone for what's good and what's not. And it's okay, so you can do whatever the hell you want on defense. And honestly, they're like, Minnesota, you can kind of do what you want on defense too, except when it's Shea who has the ball. And Shea's the MVP. He has the ball every time he's in the game. And it's in the half court. He has the ball in his hands the entire time, right? So it's that he is the offense and he's that good. And like I said, I'm not trying to discredit him or anything. It's just it's so frustrating, man. It feels like you're hopeless, man. So yeah, little rant out of the way. Sorry, man. I really hope that it just gets established that the refs aren't going for the gimmicky shit, right? Shea's gonna get to the free throw line. Of course, he has the ball in his hands so much. I don't even care about the free throws. It's just let us defend how OKC defends, and then we'll see what happens in the game. All right. Let's get into the first official play. And this is how you know I'm being a real one because I'm fading one of my favorite players. And I never thought I would say this at the start of the year, but he truly is one of my favorite players. Julius Randle, under 19.5 points, minus 120 at Caesars. So, guys, look, OKC's scheme defensively is very simple. You have a ball in an isolation situation, and you're Ant or Julius, and you drive. Here's to the ball very, very, very aggressively. Julius, you're posting up. Aggressive double. They're going to try to force turnovers. It's true to the ball. Packing the paint, right? They gave up 53s last game. They are overly packing the paint and just trying to, allow absolutely nothing on drives against Ant and Julius. So, guys, Julius obviously had 28 points in the first game. How did that happen? Julius played amazing, first of all. Shout out to Julius. He shot 5 for 6 from 3. all in the first half. All pretty much spot up looks, right? And yeah, he might get those. That's not Julius's game, man. OKC's defense is designed to take away the bully ball stuff, the drives, the post ups. That's Julius's game. So look, man, if Julius, and I hope he does this, man. I hope he goes over. Like honestly, like if he wants to shoot the piss out of the ball in spot up situations again, I mean, I just don't think that's Julius's best style of basketball, right? And I think the numbers would back that up. So yeah, man. You call it a sell high or not? I don't even know if it's a sell high, but 19 and a half for Julius Randle. I'm taking the under here, man. The way OKC defends is everything is taking away all of Julius's strengths. So yeah, if he plays great, he plays great. He's been amazing. But like I said, man, he scored 28 points last game. I'm gonna bank on a little bit of regression, just being objective, right? And yeah, it's like they're taking away all of his strengths. So yeah, like I said, he's playing great. He go over? Absolutely. I'm just gonna play the numbers and think that if Julius has a quiet game in post up situations and isolation situations, and they are doing everything they can to not let Julius get to the cup and finish, I'm gonna assume that he's probably not going to score the ball super effectively most of the time. And obviously, one of the times where he did was last game. So Julius, man, I hope you prove me wrong. I genuinely do. I hope you go over this line, but just being objective, I think that it's going to be rough. So, or not going to be rough. I think that it's like designed to make it rough on him, and it is designed to make it rough on him. So Julius Randle, under 19 and a half points, minus 120 at Caesars. One of the best ways to increase your chances of success in sports betting is by always getting the best price in market, and that's why I am proud to shout out Novig. Novig is legal in 42 states, including California, Texas, South Carolina, and Minnesota. Since it's peer-to-peer, there doesn't have to be much house edge like you see on traditional sportsbooks, and because of that, when you look at lines on Novig, they're going to be the best price in market a lot of the time. So do yourself a favor, try out Novig. I have a sign up link down below in the description. And when you make your first deposit, make sure to use code BETTIN for a 50% deposit match up to $25. That's $25 they're giving you to play with. Do not leave that on the table. Make sure to use code BETTIN. That's BETTIN when you make your first deposit. Let's go over the rest of the Wolves, guys, man. So Thunder stuff's really up in the air, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. But let's go to Ant-Man. So same thing with Ant-Man, right? Pick and roll is either going to be a switch or a blitz, one of the two. And if he gets a switch, he is just going to see ridiculous gap help, like ridiculous gap help. The drives are not going to be there. I said this in game one, man. I think that him going over and under his prop is going to be based off of step back threes going in, basically. And he did an okay job of that. He actually shot the ball pretty well, 3 for 8 from deep. Okay, I thought it was a little bit better. Yeah, so didn't have a great game. Obviously, only scored 18 points. Did have that little ankle tweak, but guys, Ant tweaks his ankle like every other game, it seems like, and just comes back fine. So not too worried about that. I will say, man, back is against the wall. Ant talked in the post-game interview last night about playing more off the ball. So he could just make quick decisions and stuff. And obviously, guys, if he's coming off of a pin down, like the help's still going to be there in the paint for him, but it will in general free him up a little bit more to be a scorer if he does play more off ball. And he did talk about that. I would advise people to not take his under at 24 and a half in a game that genuinely I think is a must win. I think the Wolves need to get one in OKC. Man, this team is incredible, right? They're really good. And winning 4 out of 5 after against OKC feels next to impossible. So I think this is absolutely must win, man. I'm not gonna I don't advise people fading Anthony Edwards at this number, but I will say everything that I stand for would be do not take us over either, right? Because you just know that they're gonna try and take away everything that Ant does. And yeah, so look, man, my gut's telling me Ant's gonna have a really good game. I can't play the over. But also it's like yeah, it's like if you're just like betting based off of like coverages and stuff, then you'd probably want to take the under. And like I said, strongly advise that. So Ant's rebounds are a little bit interesting, man. Did really great on the glass here. Gonna play like 42 minutes, I would assume. OKC just not a good rebounding team. I think that the Wolves go a little bit more zone too, which would be more group rebounding. You could maybe sell me on assists too. So yeah, rebounds and assists I think is a little bit interesting. What is it at 11 and a half? Pretty damn juiced to the over, but yeah. Look, man, like I said, Ant stuff, I'd probably stay away from both this stuff. All right, guys. The rest of the damn team, the rest of the damn team. I'm not even kidding when I say this. You could sell me on the over for the rest of the damn team. Jaden McDaniels obviously got into foul trouble guarding him, and yeah, it was tough. Look, man, there's been a ton of complaints about this on the internet, and I wonder how he gets officiated. I would, think that Jaden is going to play good minutes. He's always going to be a risk for foul trouble guarding SGA, though. So I will say that that is a risk. However, Jaden only took 5 shots, and look, man, I think that's a complete outlier because OKC's scheme gave up so many catch and shoot threes, so many spot up opportunities. I just think that this is a complete outlier. Jaden shooting 5 shots. I wouldn't be shocked if he shoots like 13 or 14 here, genuinely. They just happened to go to Nas, Dante, Mike Conley, Nikhil last time, but Jaden's like in the corner a ton. OKC is going to leave the corners practically wide open. So yeah, you could even sell me on some assist stuff. Maybe I think that he's in prime position to get hockey assists as well. He did have 3 assists on 5 potentials, made 34 passes. Yeah, I think that the hockey potentials are going to be there for sure. And like he would be the one who actually gets the assist in that situation instead of like obviously it's going to stem from like a Julius or Ant drive. But yeah, so look, man, I think that Jaden's in a decent buy spot just given he played 24 minutes last game. Obviously, like I said, the foul trouble's at risk, but I do love 18.5 PRA for Jaden McDaniels here. To be honest with you, did have 16 in only 24 minutes. Obviously, did shoot the ball good, shooting 3 for 5. But like I said, man, I just think that the volume is going to come crashing in for Jaden here because that's just like the matchups and stuff. Nas Reed, look, it's a great matchup for him to score too. It's a great matchup for him to get volume. That's what I will say. Nas's drives are going to be tough. I really like his threes at 1.5. But the thing is, like I said, man, I like Jaden to shoot open threes. I like Nas to shoot open threes. I like Dante to shoot threes. I like Mike Conley to shoot threes. I like Nikhil Alexander-Walker to shoot threes. You guys see what I'm getting at right now? So I just think it's going to be like, I don't know who to pick. I really don't. So last game, obviously, guys, Rudy Gobert. He only played 21 minutes. I will say he did get into foul trouble. And if we're looking at this right here, Rudy Gobert was actually only a -2. Second best plus minus on the team. Mike Conley was a +5. I actually agree that I think that those guys' minutes like went pretty well, genuinely. I thought that Rudy, even though he only had 3 rebounds, I thought that he kept a ton of balls alive on the offensive glass. He got fouled a few times, with them trying to deal with him on the glass. I thought that his defense was incredible. I thought he really deterred stuff, and obviously, guys, his offense is going to be an issue. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Rudy, see his minutes increase a little bit. So that's just like a slight thought, man. His rebounds are insanely low right now. I think that 7.5 at FanDuel, the rest of that 8.5. I was a little bit intrigued by that initially, but like I said, I do see a little bit of regression coming for Rudy's minutes, back to like 26 or 27 maybe. Mike Conley, man, I just think it's tough because in a perfect world, you need these catch and shoot guys for this matchup. Dante DiVincenzo on paper and Nas Reed on paper are the perfect guys to crack this OKC defense and what they're doing schematically. However, when they combine to shoot 3 for 19, it just like what the hell, man? Like what the hell? So even Nikhil Alexander-Walker, man, like he was close to a 40% 3-point shooter this year. Like he is a great defender, great team player. He's been struggling from deep, just like Dante has. But if he hits some shots early, like he could easily pop off for like a 4 or 5-3 game. It's just the problem is, man, is that you can make this case for genuinely every single role player named McDaniels, Conley, DiVincenzo, Reed, and Alexander Walker. Like who do you pick? I don't know. Usually it's like reading the market, right? It's like just like looking around and seeing which player has the most value. And like I said, I did that and I just like could not decide. So yeah, guys, I mean, that's my thoughts on this. And I hate to, be so wishy-washy with it, but like I said, man, I just can't at this moment in time, I can't choose. Like I said, when you look at the matchup and what they're doing in the half-court defense, Dante and Nas on paper feel like the perfect people to crack the code with their quick trigger threes. but they're just not making them. And Dante has not been making them all postseason. And it's not a win or go home, but it's a very, very important game. And what if Dante comes out and is just playing like absolute ass? Like, why would you not play someone else? What if not? What if Rudy's minutes go good? What if he's dominating on the glass? Because like I thought that I seriously think that that's like in the range of outcomes here, like on the offensive glass, and obviously he's going to be good on defense. Well, then Julius isn't getting benched. You could see a pathway for Nas to not play a lot, and then it's just like yeah. So look, man, I'm probably going to find someone to bet on, but that's just my thoughts. And like I said, I apologize for being so wishy-washy about it. Okay. Cool. Let's move on to OKC side of things. And I think that this is a very tough thing to gauge. So Minnesota, I didn't like their defense personally. And I'm not the coach. And Shea shot 10 for 27. On paper, that's good, right? On paper, that's good defense. That's inefficient offense. I just didn't like how Shea was able to drive with ease. You know, he was able to get a switch he wanted with ease. He was attacking the hell out of Nas and Julius off the bounce. Even like Mike Conley was getting attacked. He was just pretty much attacking everyone, and I wasn't a fan of it, especially after, like I said, I ended up betting on Dort last game, and it of course lost. But I watched that Denver series, and Denver's defense just like looked so good. Like they really looked like they're not a good defense, and them playing zone really just put a wrinkle on the Thunder offense. And I really think that the Wolves should do that. I really think that the Wolves should make more of an effort to get the ball out of Shea's hands. Will they do that? I'm not sure. So, guys, if you guys are really like the whole point of this, right, the whole point of betting is to hopefully win your bets and make a little bit of money, right? I think watching the start of this game and seeing the coverages Shea's getting, if they're just like staying home on shooters and playing him basically one-on-one and sending minimal help, like they did in game one, of course, take a stab at a Shea over. But if they're not, Lou Dort's lines are too low, in my opinion, at 7.5. I know it's a little bit greasy, but especially 1.5 threes at minus 120. Yeah, if you see the Wolves in zone early, if you see more aggressive looks to get the ball to Shea's hands, which I would do, then of course look to these roll guys. So yeah, like I said, man, I hate to give shitty input, and I feel like I just did with this OKC stuff. But that's truly how I'm feeling. There were some very interesting minutes in this game as well. I called this and I didn't end up playing it, even though he was really good in the minutes that he did play on like a recording stats basis. Isaiah Hartenstein, not very needed in this matchup. Like I said, man, you don't have to go big against this Wolves team. And OKC at heart is a small ball team. And I think they showed that. It was a little bit strange, Chet only playing 26 minutes, but Kenny Hustle came in and was like hitting pull-up middies with like the shot clock expiring, catch and shoot threes, competing his ass off as he always does on defense. And he gave them good minutes. Isaiah Joe was back in the rotation. I mean, they legitimately like ran a 10-man rotation. So yeah, of course, since they won the game and since, you know, Kenny delivered, Isaiah Joe, I'm sure he will get minutes again. They're probably going to run a 10-man rotation again, man. So these role guys, just be careful with them. Isaiah Hartenstein's lines obviously took a dip. I wouldn't hate going back to those unders though. He was really hitting his floaters. And like if that's not the case, he would have, you know, if he would have missed like two of those floaters like from the free throw line where he was shooting them pretty deep. And he's good at them. Don't get it twisted, but he could have had like a really poor PRA game and probably gotten a little bit of lower line. So I still don't hate going back to some Hartenstein unders. Like I said, man, Caruso. So Cason Wallace actually played 33 minutes off the bench. He was a plus 21. I'm sure that definitely had something to do with it. But Cason really is a great player. He had 7 assists somehow. That's crazy. How many potentials did he have? 7. Checks out. All right. But yeah, man, this is just like this is the OKC depth pieces, man. I really don't think people have much of an edge on these. Like it's just like minutes roulette with a lot of these guys. Even we saw Caruso shoot 3 for 3 from deep and still only played 21.5 minutes. That's a little bit weird. We saw Dort with like 28 minutes or 27.5 minutes. despite getting 5 fouls. And, he didn't really hit a shot, I don't think, until that late one in the fourth quarter. So they were rolling with Dort, man. Dort's a guy who, I mean, all their guys are kind of like this, but Dort's like a good guy to like put on Randall with his physicality, especially when you're just going to send a double. He's a great guy to put on Ant, obviously. So Dort's pretty encouraging, man. And like I know I already like said this, but if the Wolves do make an adjustment, I really like this price for Dort to hit 2 threes, especially at home, man. I've been talking about this the last couple of videos we've done with the Thunder. But yeah, Dort, man, at home, he just shoots the ball so much better. Let's see, playoffs. Let's just go to, so we're at home in the playoffs. Let's go to field goal percentage and just get that up here. Field goal percentage at home. He is shooting, at home in the playoffs, he is shooting 41%. Let's go to the road. And now we have to go back to field. Okay. And he's shooting 20% on the road. So, yeah, guys. Pretty big difference. Definitely struggled to shoot the ball on the road versus at home. I am a fan of Dort stuff, man. I really am. But like I said, with OKC, I think the best way to do this is to just watch the first part of this game and see if the adjustment is made. If I had to guess, I do think that the adjustment is going to be made. But at the same time, if you're Finch, you can totally justify not making that adjustment by how well they limited Shea from the floor, right? 10 for 27 is really good defense on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So yeah, I just think all this stuff's up in the air. I don't feel like there's much. I think OKC is just incredibly unpredictable right now with their 10-man rotation. And yeah, that's my thoughts over there. Like I said, sorry for the lackluster analyst on the OKC stuff, but yeah, guys. All right, that's gonna do it for here. Julius Randle under 19.5 points was my official play. And I totally realized that I had this banner the whole time, and I just never put it down. Well, at least you guys know what the play is. But yeah, like I said, Julius, think it's a good sell spot. Willing to bet against his spot up shooting, like I said, because I don't think that the post and isolation stuff is going to be there, or the drives at all, to be honest. So yeah, but like I said, man, and then the Minnesota stuff that I'm really having trouble like picking, but I know what's going to happen is just like which role player is actually going to make shots today, because OKC is going to give up catch shoot threes to 5 guys on their team. It's just which one is going to make it, which one has the most value, maybe based off like a buy or sell spot. Like I said, man, big fan of McDaniels here at 18.5 PRA. All right, well, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next time.